All right, so it says we went live right away. No trying to reconnect. Hey, everybody. Number 2 show of a Monday. Today is March 26th, and I am with Ricardo Rangel and Manny Marrero. Let us know you can hear us or see us, because this is my biggest concern. I got a new iPhone. Hey, Joe, let me know. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear us or see us. I got a new iPhone yesterday and apparently forgot to get the microphone layout, So it was 3 hours of it, and I still don't have my phone back. So here we go. All right, so we got lots of thumbs up. That means they can hear us or see us. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for being on the show. I appreciate you coming on today on a Monday afternoon in this crazy weather. Tracy says hi, guys, because Tracy Stein is also in the audience, by the way. So since he did that, I'm going to have to call him out. We have another veteran. So we have 3 veterans in the room and 1 non-veteran. But I'm very appreciative. I think you guys know by now that I have a heart for veterans, and I think there's so many things that we can do for them. And a lot of people don't know how to maneuver through all of the quote-unquote opportunities out there to help veterans, because there's so much on social media. There's so many different organizations. So I love to bring organizations that are local, that are making an impact. Hey, Lori Rivera. So Lori also has a big heart for veterans, and she's in the real estate business. So welcome, guys. I've talked enough. So the audience always loves to get to know you all. So we read your bios. My audience is wonderful. They probably read, but I don't read that well. So we're gonna start from the beginning and pretend like nobody read those bios and give us a little background on you guys. So Ricardo, you want to start?
Sure. Thank you, Ted. Thank you for allowing me to be here. This is a great opportunity to get the message out that we want for veterans. My family comes from Ecuador. I was born in New York City, and right after high school I decided to join the military. So I ended up going into the finance field in the U.S. Army, and did that for about 12 years. Decided to get out of the military, and when I came home, I found myself in a situation where it was not the same situation that I left, and that caused me to become homeless for about 4 months.
I did not know that.
Yes. So that gave me the strength to try to find ways, and obviously when you go through that, one of the biggest things is you don't go for help. You're taught to get yourself out of those situations. So unfortunately, I didn't really kind of seek the help right away, and that was the issue. And that's kind of one of the things that we want to do in America's Home Foundation, is being able to help those veterans know that they have someone they can talk to that either has gone through the same situation or knows how to get out of those situations. So, but little by little, with the help of friends and family, I was able to get out. And I ended up, not even a year later, said, you know what, I'm going to run for the Florida House. And I said, the people that are running for that position at the moment are not the people that are ideal and that represent not only the community but also veterans as well. And that was one of my biggest things. Nobody believed in me except for myself and a few volunteers, and we went neck to neck. Not even my party supported me. The party says, unless you got $50,000, we're not going to help you. It says, well, if I have $50,000, I would do it. I wouldn't need your help.
Exactly.
So we went at it hard, and we ended up winning with 68% of the vote.
That's amazing.
So that was a huge feat for us, and from there, I just continued the public service. And while I was in the Florida House, I ended up going into it and creating Florida's first GI Bill. That to me was an amazing feat for military veterans, with military members as well, because it allowed for a lot of veterans to be able to transfer a lot of their credits into college and get certificates out of them instead of just kind of being up in the air.
So the old GI Bill wasn't working. That's what my father-in-law went to college on, the old GI Bill.
Right. Well, that's the federal one. The federal one, everybody has that. But the Florida GI Bill was something that I co-sponsored with a few other veterans in the House. And what it did is it amplified what that GI Bill did. It didn't bring in more money, for example, but what it did is it allowed for more transfer credits to come into Florida. Also, military members and veterans that moved to Florida no longer have to wait that 1-year residency period to get in-state tuition.
That's so cool. Yeah. And that passed.
That passed, and
oh
that's
my gosh,
law.
that's amazing.
Yes.
I did not see. These are the things I think we don't hear enough about that kind of positive legislation, because anything legislation related or politically related tends to get in the negative portion of the news. And it's so awesome. Please give him my phone number because I have access to some things that will benefit the veterans. Absolutely, Pete, I will. You'll get a lot of comments, and if you guys want to respond, go ahead. Real quick, back to, I don't want to focus on the homelessness part, but that's such a big part of what you're doing as well. So a lot of people say you got out of the military, you've got military benefits. They don't understand what happens from the time you're discharged to the situation that you're in where you become homeless, or there's a situation where you're homeless, because they think the VA is taking care of you. They think that you've served our country and you've got this $1 million pension that's coming into you. They don't understand there's a disconnect, because I really believe they don't get how you go from serving our military to being homeless, even though the veterans make up such a huge chunk, a percentage of the homeless people who are on our streets. So can you share just enough of whatever you want to share with how that transpired, and then how you got out of it, how you were able to dig out of it? And then we'll get to Manny. I think that's important for people to know.
Correct. Well, one of the biggest things when you go from military life into civilian life is there's a huge disparity in between, because in the military, you're routine. You already know what you have to do. You get up in the morning, you go do your exercise in the morning, get to work. Once you get to work, you do your regular 8 hours, go back home and relax for the rest of the day, whatever the mission dictates. So you're pretty much programmed into everything is happening for you. Now, when you get out of the military, things that people don't realize is, well, now you have to find a job. Right. You don't have a steady income. And if you're not retired, you're not getting anything. I mean, you could do 18 years in the Army and just get out without a retirement and not receive a dime from the military. Basically.
So when you retire, is there a certain age that you get it? So if you put your 18 years in, I think it's a big education for people. You put your 18 years in, if you're not at retirement age, is that what it is?
No, it's basically, in order to really retire from the military permanently, you have to do 20 years. So you have 20 years to do, and then you're retired. So you can literally do 19 years and 11 months and get out of the military, and they say, well, you didn't fully fulfill your retirement age. Wow. Or your retirement years, so you don't get no
there's
pension.
No benefit.
No benefit.
Wow, I did not know that.
Right. So the only thing you really get once you get out is, you'll get the GI Bill, unless you've already used it. You'll get, VA benefits. They'll say, okay, you can qualify to buy a new home. But let's say circumstances arise that you maybe didn't have the best credit to qualify for the VA loan, because you still have to qualify for it. And you won't be able to buy a house. So it's not like it gives you money in your pocket. It's just an extra benefit. You have the VA hospitals where you can get medical treatment, but it took me 1.5 years to be able to even get into the VA, because they couldn't find the doctor to be able to put me in, because everybody was either on vacation or they were not enough doctors to put around. So it took me 1.5 years to actually get in into the medical VA facility.
Wow. So of course, if you're coming, so that makes sense that you're coming out, you've had this income, you've had this structure, so to speak, and then you're coming out, you're trying to transition into being a civilian, and you have zero money. Like, it's not like they pay you $1 million while you're in there either, and you can sock it away. It's not like there's a ginormous paycheck for you every month when you're serving. So you come out, and then you have whatever you saved, if you saved anything, and then you're trying to figure out how to transition to civilian life, get your job, and then in the meantime, if you don't have enough money, or you don't have the money to put down on a place, or you can't qualify because of credit, you have no place to go. So you're from the Navy, Craig. Thanks for serving, my friend. Appreciate that. Hey, Jen. All right, so very thankful for your service, and wow, lots of things I did not know, and I think a lot of people on here would not have known that. All right, so I don't want to take away from Manny, because Manny has a story too. So this is Manny Marrero, and actually Manny, I saw a Facebook post that he made. I don't troll Facebook, but I certainly do look for cool things on there when I have a spare moment or 10. And I saw, Tracy's laughing. I saw Manny on there. I'm like, oh gosh, he's working with veterans. He seems very passionate. And so I'm always looking for that, because you can't fake that usually. And we can smell or see most of those people a mile away. So I reached out to Manny Manny probably reluctantly agreed to come see me. He's probably like, what the heck? Why is this guy reaching out to me? And so I think Manny's doing amazing things. And so give them a little story about you, Manny. This is Manny Marrero.
Well, hello everyone. Ted, thank you for giving us the opportunity to be on this show. Thank you for reaching out to us. Like I said, I had no idea who you were. You saw.
Yeah, we need to fix that. I need to get better.
Channel 13 interview. That's just a start. We're now official non-for-profit organization, America's Home Foundation. So everything's trying to get this ball moving. Do the best we can to raise the funds that we need to make the changes and make permanent changes, such as changing the laws, providing jobs for the unemployed, and getting these homeless veterans off the street.
So I want to get to America's Home Foundation, but you know I'm going to dig deeper, and you're going to give me a little bit more about your background. So tell us about you a little more. You obviously, you served. You have 2 Bronze Stars. I remember that from the bio, because I do read people. I know you don't believe it, but I really do. So give us a little background. Where are you from? How long did you serve? And then maybe tell us what happened to you when you transitioned out of the military.
Well, I grew up here in Orlando, Florida. Me and my family graduated just like most people after high school. Went off to the military, joined the Army, got in the logistical field. It's a good field if you want to help people, supplying all the supplies to your brothers and sisters. Hey, no better job that I've ever had, right? I did 15 years, 11 months, 6 deployments to Afghanistan, 40 months total. Like you mentioned, a couple Bronze Stars, a couple MSMs that I'm really proud of for getting them in combat. Unfortunately, I had a couple injuries that were unexpected. Tried to go the route of getting surgeries, which didn't work for me. 3 surgeries, didn't get better. Unfortunately, the Army decided to part ways. E7 on my way to E8, but with injuries, you can't lead. Go ahead, there's the door. So I fell short of my retirement goal of 20 years, but they gave me a little compensation. The issue with a lot of people getting hurt, not making it to that retirement 20-year mark, is that we receive a temporary retirement. You know, a temporary retirement for all our service, everything that we've done, which kind of doesn't make sense and bothers us a lot, and that's why we're trying to do change, because there's not temporary marriage, there's not temporary service, temporary honor, you know, anything like that. Right. And a lot of people don't understand that we get put out with temporary, and a temporary status is something that can be taken at any time, whether you're late for a VA appointment, or you're not taking your medication, or if something happens, like from time to time happens with every other person, gets in trouble with the law. Right. Those benefits can be stripped from you.
Wow.
So we're trying to do something about that, and trying to get permanent retirement and have the same and equal rights as other city, state, and federal employees. Because I'm sure a lot of people don't know, like I didn't know. If you get hurt in the federal field, state field, slip and fall, and you're disabled and you have to leave your job, you get a permanent retirement. So I don't understand how my brothers and sisters, you know, your family members can go off to war, do 40 months in battle, come home on a temporary retirement. When a person does a slip and fall and gets hurt downtown, gets a permanent retirement, and they get a temporary retirement. That doesn't make sense. So that's something that we're really trying to change.
Was that a motivator for you to establish America's Home Foundation? One of them? Definitely
one of them. It's equal rights. So us, it's equal rights. It's not equal in black and white. And a lot of people I didn't know. You know, what's this? Temporary? What? So dig deeper, okay.
I don't think a lot of people know. And so if you all don't know, imagine
exactly
the civilians don't know. So what did you, when you transitioned out, so you're dealing with the temporary, quote unquote, temporary retirement, what's going through your head? Are you having the same trouble that Ricardo had in finding a job, transitioning out, finding housing? I know every veteran, their story is different. So what were you facing?
Well, I was lucky to have, you know, quite a few dollars saved up at my rank. You know, I was E7 for almost 5 years, stacked away some money. In my mind, I said, okay, you know, everything happens for a reason, you know, very faith-driven. Just move on to the next chapter of my life. It's not going to be too hard. I worked at the highest level of special operations. I've worked internationally with all the a lot of different special forces groups, and to make it at the level I was at, I felt I'd have no problems, no issues.
Sure.
My experience, my skill set, my resume, hey, I'm good to go. It's just going to take a couple months. But unfortunately, the things that I didn't realize is on this side, in the civilian sector, there's no laws that are put in place saying you have to help a veteran out.
Correct.
But there is stigmas when you're diagnosed with certain disabilities, such as PTSD or any other mental health diagnosis, which a lot of veterans did receive on the way out.
Sure.
You know, why they got their temporary, and resume after resume, interview after interview, you know, you're wondering what's going on. You know?
So how are they, were you diagnosed with PTSD?
Yes.
Okay, so
yes.
I have PTSD, so I understand, not the veteran kind. So, but how does that become part of your job application process? Are people doing, are they asking you medical questions, or are they just saying because he's a veteran, they're making these assumptions, these negative assumptions about you, and so they don't look at your resume?
Well, a lot of the corporations and companies saying that they support veterans, you know, they hire veterans, you know, everything, they're all for the veterans. When you go on their websites and you fill out these applications, what a lot of people don't understand is there's a box that you have to check. Just like USA Jobs, any federal job, you have to check. If you meet any of these, you must click the box. All right, so no one's going to say, we're not hiring you for PTSD. That's against the law.
Right.
Right?
Correct.
It's not against the law to tell you why they're not hiring you.
Correct.
You get it? So it's
Yes,
kind of like
do.
a little gray area that they can play with.
Interesting.
You know, but the bottom line is this. 22 to 23 veterans each and every day, right, for the last couple of years have been killing themselves. Okay? Now, something like that, you're telling me after 3, 4, 5, 6 months, a year, you know, plus the other stressors of life,
Sure.
compiling up, you ask yourself, why are veterans killing themselves?
Correct.
You know?
And there's been a whole push, the push-up, right? There's a whole social media initiative where people were doing 22 or 23 push-ups.
Oh, do push-ups. Yeah.
And in honor of, or to bring awareness to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people don't, that was a great way. It's kind of like the ALS one where people poured buckets of water over themselves. There has to be something done, because I don't think people they think 22, they don't really put that to, if you multiply that by 365 days, I can't even imagine. That's how many people are average veterans are killing themselves in a year. And so we have to figure out how to do something, which is sort of based on what you all went through. That's why we have America's Home Foundation. So talk more about the kind of the genesis of that, how that came to be, how you two came to work together, and then maybe some services that you all provide that you feel like aren't being provided out there by anyone else, or at least aren't as accessible as you guys want them to be.
Well, one of the things, it took a phone call from a mutual friend that got us connected. They said, hey, Ricardo, I want you to meet a good friend of mine. He's like a brother, and we want to make sure that you guys reach out to each other and touch base. He's got a great idea of doing some stuff for veterans. And since many of the people know when I was in office, my biggest concern was making sure I took care of my veterans. So they gave me his phone number. I gave him a call. We kind of got together, and we hit it off right off the top. And we had the same mind frame, the same ideas. So we went ahead and we ran away with the idea with the America's Home Foundation. And then I'll let Manny talk about, you know, how it developed from there and what we are trying to do now with America's Home Foundation.
Okay. Go ahead, Manny.
Yeah, it's just a lot of compiled stressors. You know, the more and more veterans that you meet, you see a veteran wearing a hat, or you see, you know, maybe a T-shirt from someone's unit. You know, the military. Hey, brother, did you serve? And you start getting to meet people, whether you're in the gym, the supermarket, and you get to find out that we all have stories, right? And 9 times out of 10, there's things that is bothering them that they've been through with their transition, that the same thing that I'm going through, the same thing that others are going through. So what are we going to do? Are we going to do the 22 push-ups, which is great, running 22 miles, which is great, complaining about issues, that is great, or can we do something better? Can we come together as veterans throughout not only Central Florida, but Florida, come together and do something about it? Well, what can we do? You know, and I thank God that, you know, one of my friends got us in touch with each other. I always got time for a veteran. So any veteran out there that needs someone to speak to, someone to talk to, hit us up, give me a call. Check out the website, www.americashomefoundation.com. Give us a call or email. Always got time for a veteran. I'm glad that we linked up, because now we're tackling the big issues. And I think the only way that we're going to tackle that number of 22 suicides is if we change our strategies as a state, as a city, and as a country to tackle the unemployment issue and the homeless issue first.
Right.
All right? Because we're not even on the equal playing field with equal rights. You
Right.
know, we're a temporary retirement, so let's get the ball moving. Start here first in Central Florida, and then set the standard for the rest of the nation. That's what we're really trying to do.
So what's one of the first initiatives that you guys are trying to accomplish? What's something, so if people are out there, we have a lot of, Lori's tagging a bunch of people. Stephanie Bush says, thank you for your service. My brother-in-law is deployed now, and our family is a big military family. She put lots of hearts on there. Thanks, Steph. So what is one of the first initiatives out the gate? Because this is you're relatively new, 501c3. What is, if people are out there, they're going, okay, I'd like to help, I'd like to figure out what to do. Because like we talked about earlier, people have no idea. If you do veterans on Google or you do it on Facebook, the search tab, there's a million things that come up. So they don't know what to do. They want to do something. What can somebody local do, since this is a local grassroots organization? What can they do to get involved? What can they do to help you other than cutting a check? Because a lot of people really, they want to give money, but they want to get involved. They want to know what kind of voice you need, who they need to contact, what some of the initial needs are. So if you can give them some idea on what really the first step is for them to get involved, that would be great.
Absolutely. And Ted, I think one of the biggest important things is for people to get involved, and not necessarily to give a check. You know, like you said, a check can only go so far. But the most important thing is if there's businesses out there that are veteran friendlies or want to become veteran friendlies, please give us a call. We want to be able to bring veterans to us and say, okay, you know what, you were a finance manager in the military. We have a great bank that we partnered with. You'll be able to go ahead, directly talk to the person and have a conversation with that manager and have an interview. You know, one of the biggest things, I've literally, when I got out of the military, literally put over 200, 300 resumes out there and nothing.
It's crazy.
I was a person that had a degree. I have a master's degree. My job in the military was finance, so I literally managed budgets of over billions of dollars. And I still couldn't get a phone call.
Why? What's the stigma? I don't understand. I mean that. Because when, like, Tracy and I are fraternity brothers, so when I see, for example, a Sigma Chi on a resume that comes across my desk, there's an immediate bond. Like, I'm looking to find a way to work with that individual. So there's got to be veterans in hiring positions. Why is it so difficult for you all to break in? Why too?
I said there's a lot of stigmas out there. There's a lot of myths. All right, like you do 15 years, X amount of years, like say special ops, finance, or whatever. Okay, you were only in the Army, you have no experience. What's your experience? That's the mind state of some employers.
How can they not look?
I don't know. Ted, your guess is as good as mine, right? That's what's kind of troubles me sometimes. So what we're trying to do is build relationships with these business owners, other corporations, community leaders. Vet, the best thing is a veteran knows a veteran.
Right.
You know, how much help does this veteran need? Take hold of their hand, show them the way. If they're ready to go to work, put them to work. Hey, what's your MOS? Break it down. Go take them personally. Hey, Ted, this is so-and-so, veteran. Boom, talk to them, give them that interview. Relationships that business owners can trust us. All right, start off lower tiers and just get them jobs. And eventually just, help them build hope back into their lives, whether it's help them with their credit, fix their credit so they can qualify for that VA loan.
Yep.
Those are steps that we're trying to take.
It's crazy to me because how could they? This is where I need to think. I think we need to get to the bottom line of why people don't trust. Like, my immediate thing would be to trust. I trusted you to protect my country. Right. So why is it that I would not trust you in business? It seems so ludicrous to me, but I understand there's a stigma. So maybe making people understand, educating them is so critical. I just can't imagine why they would have trouble. I find that troubling.
Right. And not to also touch on that a little bit, I think too is that our generation has gone so much in reliance to technology. I mean, imagine you're being inundated with resumes and emails of hundreds of thousands of people probably applying for one job.
Right.
And you have to try to stick out of all those applicants. You have to be number one, or even in the top 10 just to get somebody to look at it. And I personally think sometimes stuff gets lost in translation.
True.
Sometimes if you do submit your application online, there's no confirmation that other person really received it. So that's why we want to be able to create that personal touch with the business owner and say, you know what, we're going to recommend somebody to you. We want you to directly speak with them not necessarily say, okay, well, send me a resume. Oh, here's my web application. You can fill out the application online. No, it hasn't worked.
Right. Wow. I mean, I just think, hey, Jerry, I just think it's amazing. I don't want to belabor that point. I just, from a outsider's perspective, somebody who has a heart for vets, I just can't imagine that being a stumbling block. But I guess it is. So, all right. So we're going to share all of their information, Ricardo and Manny's information, on the website or on the video. I'm sorry. I'm actually, I just can't believe this is happening to you all. And I hear it all the time. I've had Jose Belen on. I've had a lot of veterans on it. It's just the same story over and over again. And I'm so happy to see you all and proud of you for doing what you're doing. We're going to share all of their contact information when we post the video, how to reach them, how to help. I'll give you Ricardo and Manny's information when we post it. So any parting words of wisdom for them before we head out?
Well, I'd just like to say, for any veteran out there, family member of a veteran, or just anyone that loves veterans who serve their country, if you want to get involved, just remember, hit us up at www.americashomefoundation.com. Find out more information on how you can get involved. And I thank you.
Okay. You? Anything?
Well, no, and again, the best way is the website. It'll have our contact information on there. We'll be more than happy to help in any way we can. We're going to build it stronger, and the other component that we're bringing into this as well is an educational component where we're going to be able to help put veterans into a better opportunity to be able to get a better job. Because let's say if somebody was in combat arms, when they get out, it's really hard to find something that's going to translate into that kind of job.
Correct.
So we want to make sure that we put them into some type, either apprenticeship, tech school, or some certificate program that's going to be able to generate a quicker return on their investment.
Lori, the website's americashomefoundation.com. Lots and lots of comments. You guys are amazing. The audience is amazing. I'll get to you in a minute. Again, Manny and Ricardo will definitely respond to all of your questions after we post the video. Thank you guys for your service. I really appreciate you guys so much for coming on and talking about it. You have a lot of people in your corner. We just need to figure out how to be collaborative and work together to at least get some better solutions to what you all are going through and have gone through. So we love you guys. Thank you guys for being on. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.
God bless.
God bless.